right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Rain chances are creeping up for Thursday, but dropping a bit for the weekend. The changes the Weather First team is tracking tonight.
Radioactive concerns at Jana Elementary. The Army Corps of Engineers says the school is safe, why parents aren't convinced. But first, Metrolink riders now on alert after a man tries to attack 2 women at stations downtown.
It's very frightening. No one should have to, be scared.
Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Ann Allred has the night off. Police say the 2 attempted sexual attacks happened last week, just a day apart. One of the violent crimes happened at the Metrolink station near 8th and Pine, and our Robert Townsend is there live. Robert.
Hey there, Mike. Police tell me the accused rapist attacked both victims. Get this, as they waited on Metrolink trains. Tonight, the suspect is locked up and facing charges. Prosecutors charged Dartarius Gibson with multiple crimes after police say he attempted to rape 2 women at 2 different Metrolink stations in the heart of downtown St. Louis. A probable cause statement reveals the first incident happened last Tuesday at the Convention Center Metrolink station on North 6th Street. Police say the East St. Louis man approached a woman on a platform twice and asked her for directions. They say Gibson then left and returned with his genitals exposed. Investigators say when the woman ran, Gibson chased her, punched her in her head, and knocked her down.
It's very frightening. No one should have to, be scared.
Police say when Gibson inappropriately touched the woman, she screamed, alerting other riders. Gibson ran off. Investigators say the next day, Gibson walked up to a different woman at the Metrolink station at 8th and Pine, asked her for directions, and once again exposed himself. Charging documents allege he choked the woman, wrapped his arms around her torso, and touched her breast. Police say the 2 struggled before Gibson pulled her pants and underwear down. The woman fought him off, got away, and called police.
I'm always looking around, making sure what's going on.
That's why you should always travel in groups and know how to protect yourself.
The attempted rapes come on the heels of 2 separate violent fights that recently broke out on East Side Metrolink trains. After that violence, a Bi-State Development spokesperson said the company is working with its police partners to increase the law enforcement presence on the Metrolink system.
My thoughts and prayers are to those women.
Now, in a statement sent to us late tonight, Kevin Scott, Bi-State Development's president and CEO, says, quote, at the request of our customers, our partners, and the public, we are in the process of enhancing all aspects of our security platform. Scott also tells us that will include gating and fencing the Metrolink system at those platforms. And again, as for the suspect, Gibson, he is now, again, in the city jail. He's being held without bond. We're live downtown. I'm Robert Townsend. 5 on your side.
And police are still searching tonight for one of the suspects in a deadly shooting in Collinsville. Police say they got a call just a block from the police station Monday night around 7. When they arrived, they found the body of 19-year-old Vaden Hawks. He was shot to death on the sidewalk. Witnesses say there were 4 people running from the area. 3 people were arrested after a quick chase. If you have any information about this, you are asked to call the Collinsville Police at 618-344-2131. Mayor Tashara Jones delivered her State of the City address tonight, calling on Missouri Republicans to drop their push to take control of the St. Louis Police Department. She also pitched her plans to reduce crime and speed up city services over the long term. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, has the highlights from the mayor's speech. Mark.
Mike, the mayor never used a signature phrase or declarative statement to say the state of our city is this or the state of our city is that. Instead, she used a prop, an old time card from 1916, and described typewriters still at City Hall today as relics to illustrate a city that in many ways is stuck in the past.
A crowded gym at St. Louis University expected Mayor Tashara Jones to talk about her last 2 years in office. But when she took the stage Tuesday night, she turned back the clock 59 years
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke for about 45 minutes to an integrated audience in this very room.
About 45 minutes later, she closed her speech, quoting the civil rights icon's plea to put unity over division.
We may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now.
38 times, the mayor mentioned crime or safety as she described the state of the city and prescribed her solutions.
Stemming the tide of crime is directly related to eradicating poverty. We can reduce crime by reducing poverty.
Jones pivoted to politics, hammering Republicans' culture war in the classroom.
And to Jefferson City, diversity is dangerous, history must be buried, and our centers of learning, our beloved schools and libraries cannot be trusted. If Ruby Bridges was strong enough to endure racism, our children are strong enough to learn about it.
And then delivered a dose of reality. A new study monitoring cell phone traffic in downtown St. Louis found the city has just 57% of the foot traffic downtown that it had before the pandemic.
The 1-2 punch of a shrinking workforce and COVID-19 put a strain on our city's overstretched workforce and our antiquated hiring system.
Jones attempted to calibrate public expectations about a swift recovery.
We can't go back to the so-called golden era of St. Louis.
But said over time, the city can accomplish a different goal.
To build a St. Louis that recognizes our diversity and adapts to the current post-pandemic reality.
A lot of people moved during the pandemic. To people moving to St. Louis, Jones said the city will open its arms and open a new office of New Americans to welcome immigrants and refugees.
You have a home here in St. Louis, and our city is better off because you're here.
New reaction tonight from Missouri House Republican Brad Crist responding, saying the city should crack down on crime with swifter consequences, and said the mayor should focus more on taking the people who steal cars to court instead of the companies who make cars. Of course, that's a job for a prosecutor, not a mayor. You can watch the full address on demand on the 5+ app or KSTK.com.
Mark, thanks. Another beautiful day today, but things are going to feel cooler for our Wednesday. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with the Weather First forecast.
Just a little bit cooler as we head into tomorrow, Mike. Now, it's not going to be a dramatic adjustment from today. We ended up making it into the low 70s in St. Louis this afternoon, but late this afternoon, little front slid in. You saw the clouds increase. We have those clouds overhead tonight. And the winds will be out of the east and northeast. That should keep us a little cooler tomorrow. But that drier air trying to nudge in from the east and northeast also pushes most of that rain that's down to our south and southwest to our south tomorrow. So as a consequence, tomorrow's not a half bad day. Yes, there'll be limited sunshine over the next few days, but it's mainly dry into Wednesday. Your shower chances will pick up in earnest as we head towards Thursday, especially south of town. We'll time that out for you coming up in just a few minutes. And we're looking ahead towards the weekend. Our rain chances this weekend, they're still there, but there's some changes to what we expect. See you in about 12 minutes, Mike.
All right, Scott. Senator Josh Hawley is expected to take his Justice for Jana Elementary Act to the Senate floor tomorrow. The senator will ask for his bill to be approved unanimously. The bill would require the federal cleanup of Jana Elementary School, as well as test the entire school district for radioactive contamination. Congresswoman Cori Bush introduced the same legislation in the House earlier this week. This legislative push comes just one day after the Army Corps of Engineers released the first part of their final report on the school. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski joins us in studio, and Laura reports that parents are still frustrated. Laura.
They are, Mike. The Army Corps of Engineers say their testing and data shows there are no radiological concerns within the school, but parents still aren't convinced it's safe. The sounds of kids playing aren't coming from where you think. The halls and playground at Jana Elementary have been silent for months after concerns of radioactive waste on the property.
So they have been in schools with some of their peers and new peers within the Hazelwood School District. You know, I really commend all of those schools that took in our kids.
And it isn't a permanent solution, but parents like PTA President Ashley Burnoff don't want their kids to go back to the halls of Jana just yet.
We know the radioactive waste is on surface. Their data samples show it. That means that It is dislodged whenever those floodwaters come, and it gets moved all over this community.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says they tested areas inside and outside the school, taking 922 structural measurements and 790 soil samples, and said in a statement, quote, "This final report builds upon the preliminary results we shared with the community last November and provides additional data from our structural surveys and sampling, all of which have confirmed there are no radiological concerns with the school." Burnoff says she's not comfortable with kids being exposed to any level of chemicals tied to radioactive waste, and they just want the whole area cleaned up.
And so the Department of Energy, it's long past time to clean up the mess that they made. And for them to not take that level of responsibility, for them to not take that level of care for people and particularly our children, that is beyond frustrating. It's dangerous and it's deadly.
Tomorrow, St. Louis University is hosting a forum on the data collected at Jana Elementary from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. The public is welcome to attend, and the Army Corps of Engineers will be there to talk about their findings. Mike.
Laura, thanks. A hearing is scheduled for tomorrow asking for a temporary restraining order on a ruling that would restrict transgender care in Missouri. 3 groups, including Lambda Legal, the ACLU, and the Bryan Cave Law Firm here in St. Louis, are suing to block the new restrictions on gender-affirming care for both minors and adults that would go into effect on Thursday. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey says the rule would protect children who he says are being experimented on. The opposing groups call this an outrageous attack. The hearing is slated for 1:30. The community is honoring the man who made a big impact on the St. Louis music scene. He was a regular at Squire's Happy Hour in Lafayette Square, and this Friday, the stage will stay dark for blues musician Tom Hall. He was killed over the weekend in an apartment fire. Instead of hearing his music, people will gather at the restaurant to remember Hall, and 100% of the bar sales will go to his family.
We don't even want to think about the replacing of Tom on Friday Happy Hour, especially not this one.
At Hammerstones in Soulard, a memorial hangs on the wall. The Bar and Grill says during Hall's regular time slot next week, it will hold a celebration of life.